Hey guys, how's it going? Joey here. Today we're going to be making a video I didn't think I'd probably make for a very long time, and that is to make a support tier list. With the season 14 coming out, I thought it was a perfect time to kind of give my opinion and thoughts on different champions for SOLOQ and where they really linked in strength and what you guys should be using to climb. Given that season 14 just came out, new items came out, the meta is shifting a lot, and I'm just giving my overall opinion on champion strengths as well as the items and how they interact and how they build from my experience and stuff like that. If you like these types of videos, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I will be posting a lot more season 14 related content over the next coming days. If you guys want to see anything from me, make sure you put it in the comments so I know. And if you disagree with my tier list, then my bad, I'm sorry. I'm just giving my overall experience of why I think these champions are strong based on my experiences as a pro player, as a challenger player, as an LCS coach, and why I think they're strong in SOLOQ. Maybe they're not going to be strong in your elo, or they're not going to be strong in general to like what you think is strong or your experience with the champion, but it's just how I feel about them. So if I'm wrong to you, that's okay. Feel free to tell me about it. Maybe not too meanly. I'd appreciate it a lot. But without that, we will get more into what we're actually doing today. I have a list of, I'll scroll, hopefully it doesn't ruin my tier list here. A bunch of supports, and not all of these are meta supports, but I thought, fuck it, I'm making a tier list video. I'm going to do it in two sections. I'm going to do the regular supports, something that I consider very common in the meta, or very commonly picked, and then I'm all going to go down to even supports that aren't really meta and where I kind of think that they could be if you're playing them well or very good situationally and stuff like that. We are going to start from Alistar, and then when we get to the Ahri section, that'll be the off meta supports, but I'll tell you about that when we get there. So without further ado, let's start talking about where I'm going to be putting some of these champions. And they're in alphabetical order, so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. First up, we have Alistar. He starts with an A. We put him in A tier. Realistically, he didn't get too hurt by the item changes or anything like that. The Trailblazer for him actually feels really good, as well as Celestial, and even Slay feels pretty good. You can just combo and get out. It's kind of like you have Phase Rush, but you don't actually need it now. So Alistar is an A tier to me. Always been a very strong SOLOQ support. You can impact the map a lot. Very strong through that. We have a Mumu. I'd probably put a Mumu at either B or C tier, maybe a high C. I'm going to re-rank things at the end in terms of like how I feel like they feel in each tier. But these will just be initial placements and stuff like that. We'll go back through. I'm going to put a Mumu at C tier. I feel like he is just too weak as a scaling champion. He is an engaged support, but he falls off very hard. If you're not winning early game with this champion, he just isn't that good. Annie is in a similar situation. I'm going to put her probably higher C tier. She's not bad. She has a little bit more agency now with the new mage items being a little bit stronger, but after they changed how her E worked in the Molten Shield, it hasn't really felt like the same champion when she was more of like an S tier support. Next up, we have Ashe. It'd be criminal to put her anything below A tier. The problem with Ashe is like you actually have to be good at the champion. And your team has to play well around it. If you're playing in like a more standard gameplay, I'd put her in S, but for the average SOLOQ game, I'd put her at probably A. Bard is probably, is he S or is he A? I think he is really close to being in either of these for SOLOQ climbing. He has a lot of agency in the game and you can actually do a lot with him. He's probably very high A, maybe even S tier with how the meta develops. We'll kind of see where that goes. Blitzcrank, probably going to put him above Alistar or around Alistar, maybe a little bit below him. I think Blitzcrank is really nice because of his map impact as well. There's a lot of nice things that you can do. One hook can just win you the game, and a lot of different champions can't really do that. Some people have mental blocks for this champion. If you're picking him in good situations, Blitzcrank would be a really good pickup. I would either go Zeke's Herald or, again, the Trailblazer on him for similar reasons to this guy, except for I'd go Bloodsong instead of for his support upgrade item. Brand, lots of damage, probably a B tier support though. Too easy to abuse in the early game. Mages in general feel really strong, but I don't think I'm going to put Brand anything higher than B tier just because of the execution of him being too high. Braum, good champion, bad in SOLOQ, probably a B tier, only can be used as a counter pick. Probably low B tier too. He's more of a C tier for SOLOQ, but if you actually play the champion well and you're picking in really good situations, it could be an S tier. It's just you need to make sure you're doing it in the right spots because of that. And those spots being so few and far between as a counter pick, that I'm just going to put him in lower B because you really have to have a lot of things work out and it doesn't have a lot of solo carry potential. Galio, probably lower C tier. He's a bit worse than a Mumu, can't really do too much. Gragas, some people will meme my Gragas because I'm kind of bad at the champion, but it is what it is. Maybe I put him in F tier because of that. I'd probably put him in D tier. He's just kind of a shit support right now. Not really much going on for him in terms of anything. There's just a lot better melee supports if you're going to play melee support. So the niche situations that he's actually good in just don't really exist. Heimerdinger will probably be a B tier, a little bit below brand. Good as a counter pick, not really that insane blindable, kind of falls off. Maybe a little bit better. Hui, I want to put in B tier as well. I think overall all the mages are around B tier, just because the items are good for mage supports. But they can still get really, really abused by all of the other champions, the melees that are above them within the game. Janna. Janna might be our first S tier champion. Maybe I just really like Janna as a champion in general, but I think that she is very strong within carrying solo queue. Maybe it's just because I've had a lot of success with the champion throughout my life playing it. I feel like she's in a decent spot right now. Her build path is a little weak, I would say, compared to where I want it to be. If she had better items, she would definitely be in S tier. Because her items are a little bit on the weaker side, I would probably put her at the top of A, but her kit right now is really, really strong ever since they reverted her. So keep a look onto that. Karma is a top of B tier champion. Similar reasons for other mages. She's really good at just winning lane, but then losing the game. If you're good at Karma, feel free to pick her. I would probably play more of an AP style Karma right now. That's what I've seen having a lot more success because of just the strength of the mage items overall. Leona. The problem with Leona is she's actually a really good support. Besides the fact that tenacity is so common within League of Legends that the champion once enemy, like she's an S tier champion and then somebody buys fucking Merc Treads and she's an F tier champion. So it's really unlucky that if your opponent has a brain, this champion really sucks, but she's actually a very good champion in general. So it's like really weird to place her because it depends on that. I'd probably put her at B tier, maybe top of C. No, I can't do my girl Leona like a C tier champion. She's more of a B. And that's fine. Just Merc Treads are OP. Lulu, unfortunately, has fallen from her graces as a champion. Her build path and everything just doesn't feel really that great on this patch. Maybe you can pick it like Kog'Maw and stuff like that. But in general, her laning got nerfed a while ago because of Propla and her really like big strength. So I'm just going to put her at C tier because I just don't think she's really that good because of all the nerfs that had happened to her. Lux is B tier for similar reasons that Hui, Brand, and what's it called are B tier. Maokai is C tier for similar reasons that Amumu and Galio are C tier. Milio is a very interesting one because if you pair Milio with 80 carries that he's actually strong with, it's probably S tier, top of A tier as a champion in general. There's a few problems with this champion in solo queue. It has very low agency for you to actually have impact on the map. But other than that, I think it's really strong. Lucian Milio is probably one of the best bot lanes in the game right now. So if you are pairing it with Lucian, I would probably put it at top of S. If you're pairing it with something like, I can't think of something right now. I don't know, Vayne or something that's just not as strong to carry him through things, then I would probably put him probably towards the bottom of A. And yeah, that makes sense to me. C tier, I would get Morgana on the higher end. Some certain situations as counter pick, she could be really strong, but overall really not that great. I kind of like the new items on Nami, so I'm going to put her in the middle of B tier by the mages. I think that in general, similar things with Lucian. If you have Lucian, she could be A or S tier, but unfortunately, most of the games you won't have Lucian. And in those games, she is on the lower end. Nautilus in B tier, probably a little bit above Leona, probably the top of B tier by Karma. I'll put Karma a little bit ahead of her, a little bit ahead of him. The difference between Nautilus and Leona as a champion is this champion is not affected as much by Merc Treads and Tenacity, so it just has a little bit more scalability. The CC just sticks, which feels a lot nicer than whatever you're getting with this champion. I think the real pitfall of playing melee supports in NA solo queue is it's really easy to get a lead, but it's also really easy to throw a lead yourself because your teammates aren't following up or because you're just like dying for fun. You can't really do that much. You kind of need your teammates to play around you. You don't have that much damage, but if you play smart and your teammates play smart around you playing melees, they'll be a much higher tier. Next up, we have Nico. Nico is a very high damage mage with early game impact, but it falls off a lot because of that. I will probably put her at the lower B tier, probably one of the worser end mage supports, I would say, just because like it just falls off so hard as a support. But the mage items feel really good, so feel free to play that. C tier situational Pantheon. I will probably put him... I actually haven't seen too much Pantheon. I'm trying to think about the items. The thought items do feel kind of good, but they're overpriced and overexpensive. So we're probably just going to put him top of D. Maybe C tier, bottom of C tier, but we'll leave it there. Poppy, there's a lot of dashes in this champion. It's kind of overtuned as it is. We're going to put it top of B. Pike. This is one of those niche champions where if you are a really good Pike player, fuck it, put it S tier. Like, he's actually really strong. But the problem is he's inconsistent. He has to play with his team. He has a lot of carry potential as a support champion, but you kind of need a lot of things to happen for him to work out well. For that, we're going to probably put him as a C tier support because you have to be playing so well consistently on the champion. That's not really worth it to be picking up. Here comes the first of many S tier champions in this row is Rakan. Rakan is for sure an S tier champion. The reason that he is one, the playmaking is insane. He can play as an enchanter, he can play as an engager, he can roam, he can win lane. There's nothing this champion can't do. It is the do all of supports, kind of like Bard in a way. And I just think he's just broken. Like, he's always been broken ever since they gave him Soraka Q or Soraka healing on his Q. Like, champ has been an S tier support, followed by the next X tier support, Rel. Rel is just too strong in solo queue. The fighting potential of this champion is way too insane. The wombo combo is nuts. Imagine just hooking one champion as Nautilus when you can hook 5 as Rel. Like, it doesn't even, like, the math doesn't add up. The champion is just 5 times the champion of Nautilus. So I'd probably put her in S tier. Following up, probably Renata is also an S tier just because of the strong laning. It plays similar to Rakan, just not as hard. The laning is a little bit stronger for Renata. Renata is either top of S or bottom of S or top of A. The list needs a little bit more S champions, so I'm going to put her in S right now. Okay, next up, we got Senna. Senna is, I love this champion. She used to be a super S tier champion, pick it all the time, it was fine. They gave her a recent nerf, it affected her a little bit. The items on her seem kind of decently strong. I'd probably put her at top of A. I'm not sure if I'd put her in S tier. These 3 champions right here could all be S tier in different situations, I would say, but I'm just going to leave her in A for now. We have Seraphine. Seraphine, probably one of the stronger enchanters on this patch, especially in certain situations. Probably B, maybe top of A, bottom of A, sorry. Set is basically Pantheon V2. Put him down here with the boys. Trying to think how the support items will interact with Sona now. I think she's a little bit better off than she was before. I'll probably put her next to Seraphine. They're basically clones, except for Seraphine has a little bit more agency. I'd probably put Soraka at top of A. This champion's healing is actually nuts. I think it's really fun to just play this champion. It's a little bit broken. So give her a go. I think the new items on her feel fairly decent. The Celestial, whatever it's called, is just really strong. The support item where you basically have Crown on her is like kind of nuts. Even Slay is good. Like, all of them work so well for Soraka's kit, just making it so she can survive and not die. I'll probably put it here. Also, the nice thing about her is, like, if you're not doing well and your teammates are doing well, all you are is just a heal bot. So as long as someone's fed, you're doing something useful. Her ult is a global. We fucking love globals because we can help our teammates who are inting and turn plays around. Tom Kench, situationally, could be like A, probably generally C. He doesn't have a lot going for him right now, so I'll put him down there. Tarek is another champion that could be an S tier in certain situations, but most of the time is probably going to be like a B tier champion around Leona if you're just picking it randomly. Twitch, C tier, Cheese, not bad. Items are okay on him. AP Twitch support, of course. The roaming is nice. Not really going to carry too many games with him. The tried and true Thresh, the classic support champion, probably a B. But where in B tier? That's what really matters. Let's see. He's definitely better than Braum. Probably similar. The thing is, if you play a lot of Thresh, he's much higher on the list. He could even be like here. But if you're not really playing a lot of Thresh and you're just like first timing him and stuff like that, he's probably going to be around here. I'd say it averages out to... I like him a little bit better than Karma. Yeah, I'll put him here. Zerath, Hui 2. We'll go next to Hui 2. Vel'Koz, just a worse mage than most of the other mages. Probably going to put him in C tier. Could be really low bottom of B. We'll just put him in C for now. Yuumi the cat. How is Nami, or how is the cat doing these days? I feel like she's not that good. Every single time I see this champion, it kind of runs it down and kind of feeds, so I don't really think, in general, she's doing the greatest. So, with that in mind, I will probably put her top of C tier. Playable, but not that good. It's actually a little bit on the off-meta side. He can go with the Gallios and the Mumus, a little bit stronger. Actually, no, he can probably go Tarek. He's not that bad. Zillion will probably go a little bit above here. Just AFK, good scaling. Very similar to Soraka, just a little bit worse at what he does. Zyra is probably one of the better mage supports, so we're going to put her at top of B. All right, so this is, in my opinion, the meta supports that you can play. These are the most common supports, and this is where I would rank them. Given that, now, I, of course, am a little bit of an off-meta guy, and I kind of believe that support is more of a concept, not as much a champion thing. And there's a bunch of supports that you can play, because as long as you understand where you're supposed to be on the map, vision, laning dynamics, and stuff like that, you can basically play anything support. It's all about just figuring out how different things interact. So we will call this the tier list for now. I'm going to take a little bit of a picture of this. We will call this the tier list for now. But of course, I want to add a little bit of extra stuff to it because I think it's a little bit more fun to add a bunch of off-meta stuff. Just because, you know, who wants just the most standard, easy peasy tier list? Let's get a little bit more going to it, more than just, you know, everything that's just meta here. But yeah, this is where I'd rank things. If you have questions or, you know, you think something's different, let me know. And I'll be down to comment and talk about it, why I thought so, if you have a little bit more questions here and there. Well, let's get into the bad champions for support, the off-meta champions, and where I would rank them within the game. All right, first up, we have Ahri. Ahri's probably a C tier, high C tier. Same with Anivia. The reasons are these champions are niche and have decent kill potential. I'd probably put Anivia low-key B tier. I think if you play Anivia, you can catch people off guard because they don't really understand the champion too well, and you can actually get a lot of kills if you're like kind of cheesing. So we're gonna put Anivia there. All right, here, because like champion doesn't have enough items and stuff like that to do damage. The CC charm is kind of whatever. Every single time I see this, there's like an R one trick playing it in high elo, and it just looks so bad low-key, so I'm just gonna put it there. Bel'Veth is like low-key one of my favorite champions right now to play support. I played her a little bit on the new patch. She didn't really seem that strong. She was actually bugged when I played her with how targets worked. I would love to put her in S tier, but she's probably at best a B tier, and that's being generous. I'll put her next to Zac. She's an early game champion that can... I can't. No, I'm not. I gotta be realistic here, man. She's like a Mumu level. You win early game, you can win the game. If you don't, fucking GG, man. Okay, Caitlyn is one of the higher AD carries. The thing about the meta right now is it's very much if you win bot lane, you just stomp the game. I think that it's just really easy to win the game through bot lane, through getting leads and having priority. Caitlyn is a champion that can take Halo Blades and basically fulfills those conditions. Some people will hate me for putting this so high, but I'd probably say she's either bottom of A or top of B. Camille, Cheese, early game champion, very similar to Bel'Veth, so we're going to put it there where it belongs. Mage support. Fiddlesticks is a C tier. Oh no, I lost my my list. What do I do now? All right, we delete F tier. I will put things at the bottom of D tier if they're F tier. Agreed? Agreed. Jhin, for similar reasons that Caitlyn is so high, we're going to put Jhin so high, except for the problem with Jhin is that he doesn't have that self-sustain, the net to keep himself safe, so he's going to be a much worse version of the Caitlyn, so we'll put him in the same tier, just at the bottom. Kennen is a very interesting support. It can be played with like Kalista and stuff like that. I think in general the damage is a little bit too low on Mr. Kennen. I would love to put him next to Nico, but he's just a way worse version of Nico. So we're going to put him probably by any tier. LeBlanc support. The reason LeBlanc support is actually kind of strong right now has nothing to do with LeBlanc itself. It's that AD LeBlanc is broken. So if you take it away from your opponent, it's actually pretty decent. So we're going to put LeBlanc into B tier, probably about Nico sized. Lissandra as a counter pick, very, very good. As a non-counter pick, very, very bad for support. For that reason, we're going to put her probably as a C tier, pied by Fiddlesticks. MF support, Emax, very good poke in certain situations. Probably C tier, can be a little bit better. Rumble is just super broken right now in general. I would say Rumble is probably about his Zyra strength if you actually wanted to play it in good spots and you actually knew how to play Rumble. Sejuani, kind of bad, falls in the category of the other bad melee supports, so I'll put him at the bottom of it. Rammus, I just put it in D tier. Singed only uses a Yumi counter, D tier. Swain, probably the same as every other like mage support, probably put it as C tier. Silas, situation he can be like A or B tier depending on matchups and what champions and ults he has. Generally, I would say probably a C tier, low C tier champion. Same with Syndra. Syndra just doesn't work that well because you need the splinter shards and stuff like that. You get it through leveling up. A lot of it through leveling up, so she kind of needs levels to actually do damage these days. D tier. High D tier. Talia's the better though. Talia has good items and stuff like that. Put it by Fiddlesticks. Trundle can be pretty fun and situationally decent. I'd probably put Trundle at B tier. Varus is a better version of Jhin support in my opinion, so I'd put a middle of B tier. It's not as good as Caitlyn as a support, but it's not as bad as Jhin. Like it's in that middle range, so that's where I'm gonna put him. Vex I like, but probably in Lysandra tier. Veigar support. I hope Mr. Amadeus 1 is not watching this because we're gonna put this into the nice D tier. Ziggy. I love Ziggs. Where am I putting you though? You're not a very good support. I'm going to be honest with you, bud. A little bit better than D. It's very similar to all the other mages is the problem. I'd probably put it by Ahri tier. It's a good poke support in situations it can be good. I'd probably put Zoe next to Ahri as well. Vi is one of the bad melee supports, so we'll just put it here. Ivern, fucking based for saying this, by the way. I'm just saying it now. He's actually a high key and S tier support. Y'all just don't know it yet, and y'all aren't playing around it. Especially if you have Ivern or a melee jungler on your team that can benefit from the Q. If you have like a Xin Zhao or something like that, this champion is broken. Shaco, C tier, not very good. Probably by Pyke just because it's easier to use than Pyke. You guys know where we're putting Shed, right? Into the bad melee tier. Teemo support, S tier, of course, just in case Young Fappy watches. Okay, get ready to clip this and send it to him. Yeah, Teemo is probably just one of the best supports of the game. I just think you should always be playing it if you can. It's just too good with the new items. Okay, unclip it, and we're going to put you where you belong. All right, Nasus. Nasus is actually kind of a fun support, but very situational. It can only be in, like, if enemies super auto attack AD carry. Probably put it at C tier. It's a little bit of a poke ADC, not too bad. I kind of feel bad for where I put Set now that I'm putting, like, Nasus above it. When I started adding the meta stuff, it got a little too troll. All right, Poke Jarvan, put it in B tier, call it a day. That is the tier list that we're going to go with. You guys can't see a couple of them off to the side. Sorry about that, and my camera is blocking them. So we're going to quickly do this so you guys can kind of see what we have over there. Maybe even do this a little bit. Yeah, there you go. And we're going to call it as this. Like I said, there's some off-meta supports here that probably aren't even close to the meta or anything like that. That I just thought would be fun to include. I would say the initial tier list is much more of a representation of my actual thoughts and opinions. If you guys have questions about champion builds or anything like that, feel free to let me know. If you guys did enjoy the tier list, I hope you guys did, because I actually had a lot more fun making it than I thought I would. Maybe I'm completely wrong on your favorite champion, or you think a champion is way stronger for X or Y reason. Feel free to let me know. If not, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll hope to be posting some more Season 14 videos over the next coming days. And I just want to say, I won Take This, by the way. Easy, no editing. Just some water drinks, free.